Welcome to Marketplace with Charles. Marketplace is brought to you by Art of Skincare, the company that brings out the beauty in you, and Kuwisa Lodge, where dreams do come true, from deep in the heart of Musawenkosi Nature Reserve, as well as Grace Farms, your #1 daily fresh produce. I am Charles Ngobeni. On Marketplace, we redefine your future by equipping you with tools that you need to achieve your entrepreneurial dreams. Each week, we'll bring you insight from experts in different fields of business, from wise men and women of great stature. Our guest today is a 19-year-old technology entrepreneur and an award-winning author who is a co-founder of a software development company that specializes in web and app development. Technology is undeniably an integral part of our everyday lives. It has made our lives more convenient. The COVID-19 pandemic has accelerated the shift into the fourth industrial revolution with the use of virtual systems for work, worship, and social interaction. Our guest today will share his experience with respect to being a technology entrepreneur and being an app and web developer. Help me welcome Mr. Musawenkosi Nyathi in your home or wherever you may be watching this episode from today. Musawenkosi.
Thank you for having me. I feel honored to be here, Charles.
It is my privilege to have such a dynamic mind sitting on that chair.
Thank you.
Please, tell me about yourself and your business in particular.
Thank you. I'm Musawenkosi Nyathi, a 19-year-old entrepreneur who's passionate about the digital industry. I'm currently running with a partner, EdTech Solutions, which is a web app and software development company. We specialize in developing websites for corporate companies and mobile apps for entrepreneurs and companies.
But what then inspired you into that industry from all these things?
My passion for technology started at the age of 11 when I was selected to represent South Africa in the Commonwealth Chess Championships up in Sri Lanka in Asia. I couldn't go and represent it due to financial constraints, so I took a journey into building chess into the digital world and started developing projects that could let people from all over the world play chess through the internet. This will solve issues like transport costs, accommodation costs, and anyone can play at any time.
You spoke of a partner.
Yes.
Do you want to tell us more about your partner?
Yes, my partner is Rosina Owen Malulege. He's a graduate in business science. I met him 2 years ago at the Young African Entrepreneurship Institute, and he inspired me into becoming an entrepreneur and bringing my skills into the corporate world.
Talk to me about the support that you have received in this business.
I've received support from a lot of people, which I would say I'm blessed for. I've gotten support from the PICHA, which is a Pan-African Technopreneurship Institute at the University of Johannesburg. I've also received support from a guy who's currently mentoring me, Dennis Maketos, who's running one of the biggest African governance, risk, and compliance companies, Isometric Software. They've supported me and the business I'm running through server-side programming with the storage, as it is a big expense and needs to be overseas. So we used their company to host our web apps that need a lot of money to maintain.
Any support from the government?
No, I haven't received any.
What's your background, if I may ask, education-wise?
I grew up in the streets of Hillbrow, learning at a private school, but I wouldn't say it was a good private school for underprivileged students. And I used to walk to school, and I didn't receive a lot of information from school about my passion, so I went on to teaching myself how to code, and I developed my first app when I was 10 years old.
Talk to me about your passion. How did you come to discover the talent in you?
In 2008, I saw the news about this new network social app called Facebook by Mark Zuckerberg. And I later on watched a movie about him called The Social Network, which displayed his journey. It inspired me into wanting to be like him, and he became my role model. So I wanted to one day build an app that could be a rival to an app he owns. And it led me into building Flexi Connect, which is a social media app that uses low data usage for people who cannot afford data. And it has about 12,000 usages from vet students alone, and has helped a lot of people save on data.
Have you been to school to study that?
No, I taught myself.
Wow. But is there any school where one can learn such skills?
Yes, someone can look into, if they go to university, they can study a career in computer science or information technology. If they go to college, they can go straight into programming and coding.
Do you mind to take me through the most important steps that you had to go through when doing the app?
When I was building the social app, the first thing I had to do was understand how the internet works, how networking works, and how everything transforms from one place into another. I mean, the internet can be sort of magic because we can't see what's happening, and understanding it could be hard because we need to know how things go through satellites and servers. And the first step was having to understand that, and then learn how to build a user interface through my imagination, and learn to see something that is not yet there, and how users would love it and how comfortable it would be. Then I went into programming, which actually is now using a technology language to build the app. I used a programming language called Python with the Kiwi framework, and I went on to building it, testing it, and it had some downfalls, but every day was getting better and better.
You spoke of your imagination.
Yes.
What do you mean by that? And what is the inherent power of the imagination?
The power of imagination is that you get to see, you get to preview something before it's there. I grew up believing that everything around us and everything we use at a daily basis is based on someone's imagination. I mean, I'm with you today and speaking to you through into a broadcast with cameras, and someone once imagined broadcasting shows, interviews, and acting and all that to the world without the actors having to travel, and it went on to being built and invented. So I believe that imagination plays an essential part in everyone's life because it makes us see things that logically cannot be possible, and we make them possible.
Well, the young man is also loaded. Just like most of my speakers or guests that grace our studios. I don't think you'll want to miss our next segment after the break. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Marketplace with Charles. I am still sitting here with the great Musawenkosi Nyathi, discussing his development, a great development. Musawenkosi,
Yes.
you have done wonders for a 19-year-old. Now, I want you to take our viewers out there through the details of what you have done.
Okay.
Like if I were the prophet, I would say, go deeper, Papa.
Thank you. So I've done a lot of things that went into my line of passion. At first, at a young age, I started with chess. I played chess from the age of 8, and I got better at it every day. And then 2 years later, I became the youngest South African junior chess champions in the under 16. And that is when I was privileged to meet the South African president at that time, Jacob Zuma, after getting presidential recognition. And playing chess helped me travel through the world and through other provinces and meeting better players who I have learned from. And also I went into programming, as I've said that I was passionate about it after hearing about Mark Zuckerberg and his social media app. And I've developed multiple apps through the years that have helped people and helped especially students who struggle with finances in the digital world. And I'm also an award-winning author, and I'm an author of 2 books. One is called Mobile App Development with Python and Kiwi, which I was inspired to write after a lot of people asked me questions about how to develop a mobile app. And I've been passionate about teaching people, so I wrote the book to help those who want to learn. I also wrote a book entitled The Art of Imagination, Think Beyond Sight, which I was talking about my belief about the power of imagination and what it can do for a person and how it can help someone change the world.
Let's talk now specifically about this app. What does it do?
Flexi Connect is a social media app that is a chat system based app similar to the popular app like WhatsApp Messenger, and it uses a low data usage, 15% lower than WhatsApp, and which helps users save on data, as we are using a public open source code, which basically means that I didn't want to. So a lot of apps still use us privacy and all that, and I made mine open source to make it usable for everyone free of charge, and for anyone who wants to see the source code can be also able to see it. And we are also highly on data privacy, as users can lock messages, make messages disappear after a certain time, and the app has an inbuilt notepad where a user can write similar to a diary.
Let's talk about the accessibility to your app. How easily accessible is it? Because for me, it's for the first time that you hear about it. And you know what's happening with the other social media now. There's a WhatsApp, there's a Messenger, and all the ones that are coming now. And we want to move to a different app, especially a South African app.
Yes. Our app is accessible from all app stores like Google Play Store, Apple Store, and it can also be found through the APK file on the internet. If you just Google Flexi Connect, you will see a lot of links that lead you to APK files where you can just download the file, install it, and the app will run. And also, when you are a person of digital technology, you'll realize in a lot of YouTube channels there are ads about it which we targeted to digital technology people to market the app throughout Africa, as we plan to be the biggest social media app in the continent.
You spoke about 12,000 users in VETS. Do you have some other users outside the campus?
Yes, we do have users from all over the world, and we have about 60,000 usages at the moment, and we stopped count of our usages as we are currently working on transforming the app from just a chat system into a full social media app where people can share photos, videos, go live with other people and celebrities to make the app accessible to the whole world with more fun functionalities.
There's a young man out there who's interested in what you're doing. What word can you give to that young man?
If they would like to build mobile apps, the first thing I would definitely recommend is to get my book. And other things that I would recommend is to have passion for it, be consistent. There'll be a lot of obstacles down the road, as programming can be a bit hectic as time goes by. But with consistency, perseverance, and not being able to give up, you will definitely make it. And anyone can build anything with the right imagination, the right skills, and not giving up at anything.
Let's talk about the obstacles that you encountered yourself. Which ones can you easily identify?
The first biggest obstacle I would say I identified was a bug that let my app run with ads, which led to users complaining that the app had ads, which I didn't know about until 24 hours later when I saw them in my own phone. And it took a while to fix it, and we had to shut down for 2 days, which inconvenienced a lot of people that had fully moved to our app. And after fixing it, we haven't had any obstacles since then, as we keep in check and maintain the app every 24 hours to make sure everything is still functioning well.
And what challenges did you encounter when developing the app?
When I was developing the app, I encountered challenges with algorithms. When one develops an app, there are mathematical formulas they might have to try and create if they don't exist, or to understand if they exist. If they want their app to be unique, then they definitely need a unique algorithm. So I wanted mine to use less data than every other app, which means I had to figure out an algorithm that worked better than a lot of other apps. And I encountered that challenge because I've never been really good at statistics and probability, so I had to work a lot in making it work, and it took me about 14 days to make it work.
You spoke of the 2 books that you wrote. The first one is How to Develop an App. How many chapters does it have, and what are the headlines?
The book consists of 7 chapters. The first chapter is the fundamentals of Python programming language, which takes a complete beginner through the basics, how it works and how it operates. The second chapter is understanding the fundamentals, which takes people through a lot of exercises, and I built a lot of apps in the book so that when people rebuild those apps, they actually understand how apps operate without only learning the basics and applying them to the code themselves. And the other chapters consisted of exercises and more functionality built apps and servers and databases that helps people understand the logic behind the code, how it should work. And the last 2 chapters were about the marketing, how a good app should be marketed, how a good app should be published, what to look out for and what obstacles to do, and what to do when you meet certain obstacles.
Your second book, I know you have given us a snapshot of imagination. What are the chapters on that book?
The second book also consists of 7 chapters. The first chapter is topic-based chapter that talks about how imagination really works, how it is, and also shows us that there are 2 kinds of imagination: the juridical mindset of imagination and the creative mindset of imagination. The second chapter is a chapter based on a story about 2 salesmen, which gives us a situation that they both went through that was exactly the same, but how the one with imagination managed to solve a problem that the one with lack of imagination could not solve. The other chapters talk about what you should do in certain types of imaginations, the discipline, how to stop the procrastination, as excessive imagination can lead to daydreaming, and how to differentiate between daydreaming and imagination, and how to build a bridge between a better duplicate of yourself and you today, and why you should visit your better duplicate every day to find motivation to get you through the day.
On the first chapter, you spoke about the 2 types of imaginations. You gave them a certain terminology. Do you want to break it down into a language that I can understand?
Yes. So our mind is mainly dual. We have a creative mindset and a juridical mindset.
Okay.
A juridical mindset is a mindset that can be connected to a lack of imagination mindset, where one only works on reasoning, where they take facts, they break them down, they compare them, and they choose the account that they think is best. The creative mind does similarly the same thing, except instead of making a verdict out of a situation, they find a solution. It basically takes you into a world where 1 + 1 will be equal something greater than 2.
1 + 1 will always be something which is greater than 2 and not 2. Okay. Tell me, this must be too costly. Is there any financial constraints that you have encountered?
I have encountered financial constraints with running the app, as sometimes when our usage grows without us planning for it, like the first month when it grew, we expected it would grow up to 10,000 usages, and that's what we had budgeted for it, but it grew up to 22,000 usages, which doubled on costs. And in Africa, I would say technology is undermined, and so a lot of investors and a lot of angel investors do not see the perspective of investing in technology or financing it. So a lot of digital products are not financed, and most of them end up failing, but I've always tried to do my best to keep Flexi Connect running.
Let's talk about your motivational talks. Do you have any, and how do you conduct them?
I am currently in partnership with a young man like me called Tsepiso Malema, who's a motivational speaker. He invites me from time to time to schools and seminars where I give motivational talks, and I talk about my experience. I also talk about how possible it is to find the right path no matter how young you are, how people might undermine you when you are young, but what you can do to overcome those obstacles, and how you should always believe in yourself and sometimes take the risk for a dream you only can see and no one else can.
For a young, dynamic, and highly successful person, tell me, how do you keep focus?
Number one, by prayer. The first thing I do when I get up in the morning, I pray. I'm a religious person. Number two, I write down every goal I have for a day, and I read them out aloud when I wake up. And I make sure that every time I want to do something, I ask myself 3 questions. The question number 1 is, will it add on to what I want to achieve? The question number 2 is it worth it? And question number 3 is it achievable? And if all 3 questions have answers that make sense, I then go ahead and do it.
So profound. You are challenging me now. Let's say someone out there wants to get hold of you for your talks, for the app. How do they get hold of Musawenkosi?
They can find me on social media platforms like Instagram, Musawenkosi Nyathi, or my username at nyathi.sa, or on my email, musanyathi20@gmail.com, on Facebook, Musawenkosi Nyathi. Or they can Google Musawenkosi Nyathi and get links to my social media pages directly, and they can contact me from there.
And if they want to subscribe to your app?
They can download the app on Play Stores, or the easiest way is to go to Google and search for Flexi Connect, as it provides a lot of links to the app. Those links will probably have megabyte file that they can download and install into their apps, and the app is easy to use from there on.
Well, Musawenkosi, thank you very much for gracing our studio.
Thank you for having me.
There you have it. That was my great guest, Mr. Musawenkosi Nyathi. From me, Charles Ngobeni, thank you for watching Marketplace with Charles, brought to you by Art of Skin Care, Kowisa Lodge, and Grace Farms. Special thanks to Smiles to Wow for the insertion of active aligners to enhance our beautiful smiles, as well as El Michaud for our great wardrobe. If you have been blessed by this episode, let us know. You can get in touch with me on charlesngobeni.com, Instagram, Charles_Ngobeni, or like us on Facebook page, Charles Ngobeni. You may want to view repeats of this program at your leisure by subscribing to the Marketplace YouTube channel, Charles Ngobeni. Let us meet again next week at the same time and the same place for another power-packed episode. Well, God bless you.
Hello everyone, my name is Cherise. I come from Pretoria.
My name is Ruth Ajayi. I'm from Nigeria.
My name is Satara Khan. I'm from Port Elizabeth.
My name is Pastor Mashan Mpahlele. My wife and I are pastoring a church in Midrand, South Africa.
I'm a second-year student at KBSM.
KBSM has truly transformed our spiritual life and our marriage life as well.
The Bible School has really helped me a lot.
I'd like to welcome you and encourage you to take the step to come and enroll with Kingdom Bible School of Ministry.
I'm encouraging you today to sign up.
We encourage you to join this Bible school.
And please remember, it's free.
Dr. Abraham S. Raja here. You've heard it all from so many different people. What are you waiting for? Join our free international Bible school today.